Alright, what up, Wholesale to Million family? In this video, I want to talk about negotiating. So when we talk to the seller, we already know that when we talk to the seller, we're trying to get the sellers to give us the number first, right? Basically want to see where they're at in their price, if their number is lower than what we thought, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to negotiating with like buyers, other co-wholesalers, other people, you guys don't do the same thing. You need to do the same thing, all right? So I'm going to share with you when it comes to the non-refundable deposit with the buyer. The buyer's going to ask you, so how much do you guys want for a non-refundable deposit? Well, you tell them, so how much can you put down? Right? You ask them how much they can put down. And then once you already build a relationship, then you just give them a number, right? Once you already built a relationship, then you just give them a number. But to me, when you first start out, when you don't know them, I would ask the other person first. And the reason why is we want the buyer to have as much skin in the game as possible, right? You want them to have as much skin in the game as possible. And a lot of time, they know their number could be a lot higher than what you want, right? And I do this all the time to all the buyers that I work with for the first time. I always ask them is how much can they put down? And typically in my mind, I have a certain number already, right? That we, like the minimum that we would expect, like, 5,000. And the majority of them would say 10,000, 15,000. I have a buyer that said 20,000. All right. You want them to have as much skin in the game as possible. That way, when they walk away, guess what happened? All that non-refundable goes to you. And you do whatever you need to do with it, right? You give the seller some extra money so you can extend the contract out, so now you can go find another buyer for the deal, right? And when they have more skin in the game, right, they're gonna stick in with it, and they gotta do what they need to do to make it happen. And if they only have a few $100, right? If they only have a few $100 in, guess what they do? They can walk away. They can walk away anytime. All right. And if they gave you a number that is lower than what you want, then just give them. Then at that time you give them your number. Just say, typically my partner and I, we expect at least 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, whatever that amount is. All right. For us, the minimum that we want from a buyer is $5,000. There are cases and situations where we're flexible with them, right? But majority of the time, I would say 95% of our buyers drop off a 10,000 non-refundable. So I don't care if your assignment fee is 1,000 or 5,000 or like $500. The more they have non-refundable, the better it is for you. Okay. Another time is, the buyer's going to ask you. The buyer's going to ask you like, well, how quickly do we need to close? Don't give them a number. Ask them. So if you're satisfied with all the walkthrough, all the inspection, how quickly can you close? All right, you guys, it's all about negotiating and positioning yourself, not just on the price, but on everything, on the term, on everything. All right. And we do it to the seller. Now I need you, with the realtor. If you're working with a realtor, exact same way. So even when you work with a realtor or a co-wholesaler that brings you a buyer, they will ask you the same thing. Is, hey, so how much you guys typically pay if someone brings you a buyer? You ask them back. Ask the other person back. And most wholesalers don't share this with you, right? And I was really debating, when I first started the channel to actually share this with you because, obviously sorry about that. My phone got overheat because it's actually right at the sun. So, our main business is still wholesaling. So most wholesalers don't put this information out there because now my buyers know how I operate and they're going to come back, blah, 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 right? But I don't care. Screw it, right? So I'm sharing this information with you guys so you guys know how to position yourself when it comes to negotiating with a business partner, with everybody. You want to make sure that you're the one who asks them the questions so to me it's also being able to know who you work with, all right? I mean, on realtor that brings us buyer, I asked the same way. So some realtors said, hey, Khang, 1%. Some realtors said, I need to get 3%, 2%, 2.5%. Some realtors said, hey, I just need a flat fee. But instead of you mentioning the number first, you want to get the other person to kind of see where they're at, like who you're working with, who you're dealing with. Are they fair, right? Are they fair? Are they reasonable, right? Are they easy to work with? Things like that, right? And to me, I always want to position myself where I ask them to make sure they're happy with the number, right? And then at the end, you get to decide if you give them more money or not. I work with agents where they said, hey, Khang, you know what? I know you have a lot of buyers. I don't want to lose the deals. You know, I want to make sure that I can get this deal for my buyer. So I really don't want anything from you. I really just want to get this deal done. No money. Zero. Happens all the time. Right? Because now we grow, we have a lot of buyers. So if he or she wants 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever that amount is from my deal, and I don't see like it's worth it when I can send it to another buyer that's straight to a buyer that wants $0, right, from me, they just want the deal, then that's the person that we're gonna send it over, right? So as you grow, you have more buyer, then you have more leverage. But I always ask, right? I always ask, and then once we close the deal, I gave him like I gave the realtor $500, $1,000, $2,000. I gave him like $2,500 depending on an assignment fee. And now guess what? Now in your book, right? And I'm sorry. Now in their book, guess what kind of person you are? That's right. So that's why right now we work with about four to five realtors that constantly just bring us off-market deals because the relationship that we have built. And then I get realtors say, Khang, nobody does that, right? Nobody does that. I work with a bunch of people, but nobody does like what you do, right? I expect nothing from it, and then all of a sudden, I got a check from you, man. So thank you so much. And then the relationship just got so strong because you now become like extraordinary, right? You become this unnormal people that he or she used to deal with, right? So that's how I want to position myself. You know, I work with other co-wholesaler. I've never done a JV deal because I always ask, man. I always ask and see what they're happy with, what they want. And as long as you can fulfill that, that's all it matters, right? But nobody's going to come to you and say, hey, you know, you have, you were weak on negotiating. I know that we took advantage of you here. You know what I mean? Like, not take advantage, but hey, I know that you could have negotiated better. You could have got more money for your deal. So here you go. Nobody would do that for you, all right? It's all about being able to create a win-win, but you got to know how to negotiate, man. This is the real life, real world. Nobody's going to feel bad for you, right? Well, when you lost on a negotiating, nobody's going to feel bad for you, man. Right? Nobody's going to feel bad for you. There's rarely anybody that's going to go out there that said, hey, you know what, Khang, you could have done better negotiating this deal. Here you go. Here's some extra money for you. Nobody, man. You got to make sure that you can position yourself right? That's why when it comes to negotiating, it's extremely important. Extremely important. So from now on, I don't care if your mom, your sister, your brother, your whoever it is that you come in contact with, whether it's price or anything like that, always ask them back what they want. Right? How soon can you close? Well, how soon can you close after you do all the walkthrough and satisfy? So, because you could have told them, hey, you know, we can close in 20 days or 30 days. But what if they what if they tell you, oh, you know, if everything is good, we can close in 3 days, in 5 days, in 7 days. Isn't that better than what you would have mentioned? If you would have mentioned that, the buyer could say, oh, okay, so I got 20 days or 30 days on it. Okay, no problem. Yep, we can do that. Like, do you see what I'm trying to tell you? And dude, you can't find this in the book, man. All this is going through experience, right? Things that I'm sharing with you has to go through experience, man. As you are going through experience with life, and especially in the business world, you need to learn how, dude. Dude, there's a bunch of sharks out there, all right? A lot of sharks out there, and if you don't know how to negotiate, if you don't know how to deal with this, like on a regular basis life thing, dude, you're gonna be eat, swallow, spit back out, and then eat you alive, all right? Anyways, from now on, everybody you talk to, make sure you talk negotiating, position yourself, making sure that they give you the answer first before you comes in with it, all right, you guys? Take care, have a great rest of your day. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.